What is going on, guys? So today we're going to be watching and talking about Battlefield 3, my favorite Battlefield game ever. Now, everybody tends to have their favorite Battlefield game. Usually they're different. And the reason why I think this is like the first time you experience a Battlefield game is usually your best experience. You play like Battlefield 2 the first time and you're like, this is insane. But I never played Battlefield 2 first. I went back to it after I played the more recent ones, but this was my first real Battlefield experience. I'm not counting Bad Company 2 because it's more of a story-driven kind of narrative game. I remember Bad Company 2, it had the most memorable storyline compared to the other Battlefield games. Bad Company 2, and 1 for that matter. But the multiplayer didn't feel the same, full-level destruction like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 2. It wasn't like that. So just keep that in mind. I did love both Bad Company games. I thought they were fantastic. Again, I'm not the best either. I'm only a level 12 right now on my PC. I used to play this on Xbox. I was a young kid. This was my middle school days, guys. Like, this is what I played. I remember doing clan wars on this game. When I said clan wars, I mean we ran our own server. We would play against other clans, and we do like specific things for whatever country we're playing as. If we were the Russians, we used to use all Russian weapons with gear that would be on the Russian guns, so we wouldn't use halo sights or anything. We'd use the iron sights and laser sights. Maybe we'd be Spetsnaz, have some silencers and stuff. And we did imagine it, like we just used our imagination and made this game something that it actually wasn't. And that's, I think, the reason why it holds such a good place in my heart. I think Battlefield 4 tried to do a little bit too much in terms of, attachments and UCAVs and mortars and all this stuff. Battlefield 3, I think, had a better balance. And that being said, the non-modern tanks, the modern, non-modern tanks in this game, the Abrams versus T-90, the Havoc versus the Cobra, the A-10 versus the Frogfoot. Those are all vehicles that, were at the peak of modern combat when I started getting into like the military history and stuff. And I think that's why it holds such a near and dear place to my heart. The reason why I got back on this is I got on Battlefield 1. I got a new graphics card, and I was like, I wonder how Battlefield 1 runs. And it did. It ran fantastic. And I was kind of in awe for, the first 30 minutes of playing on this new graphics card. I went from playing on a 970 with 8 gigabytes of RAM to a 1070 overclocked with 16 gigabytes of RAM. So the game ran smooth, amazingly smooth at ultra. It felt amazing. And I was playing this game and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. And I'm dying, but I'm attributing that to just being a bad player off the bat. And then I started to notice what it is I really don't like about Battlefield 1. And it's the fact of it's shallow while trying to be deep. And it looks fantastic, and don't get me wrong, but this game looks fantastic too. And this game has a multitude of different guns that all act differently. And the classes mean something. In Battlefield 1, I don't get that. I didn't feel that meaning. You don't have to shoot down helicopters, and you don't get to do that with RPGs, and all the guns just are steampunky and don't really fit my vibe. I love an AK. I love using an AK. You don't get that. You get to use these automaticos and these, I guess the bar is pretty iconic, but even that is just way too overpowered compared to the rest of the guns you get to use in the game. And sure, I love bolt-action rifles, but when there's so many of them that are all not really different, and you classify a gun as a different gun just because it has a different scope on it, you lose the point of the game. And that was my biggest issue with the game, was I would get the M95 Mauser, and then I'd get another M95 Mauser that just had a different sight, but I'd have to unlock them as if they were different weapons. In this game, if I want a different sight, I just put a different sight on. I have to work for it, unlock it, and once I unlock it, I put it on. And I think that was it. It's just Battlefield 1 was shallow, so I rage quit, I uninstalled it, and I downloaded Battlefield 3 and played for 3 hours last night. This is just the beginning of my game session. I didn't record it all night because I was like, this is just fucking great. I'll just use it as background footage. I mean, it's not the best gameplay ever, but that's fine. I had a blast. And I don't think I've had a blast playing video games like this in a while by myself. Usually I need team. I like playing with friends, and that's where I usually get my kick from online gaming. But the fact that I just played this by myself for 3 hours, didn't even look back, and then it was 1 a.m. before I even knew anything, it just felt right. And this kind of leads and segues into the topic I want to talk about. I mean, I guess I've been talking about it all day, but what happened to games? I haven't had a game that's come out recently that's pulled me in like this. None of them. I mean, even my most anticipated game, Fallout 4, a fantastic game by most regards, didn't live up to the hype. And why is that? Do these companies set games too high on a pedestal now? Do we think of games from our childhood way too highly? Or is it the fact that these companies are really just trying to push money out? And it makes me sad because I loved Fallout 4. I played a lot of it. Don't get me wrong. And I thought it was great. But it wasn't New Vegas. It wasn't Fallout 3. The storyline, while it was alright and kind of riveting, and it had an interesting thing with the whole, what were they called? The Institute? With the Institute and, you know, your son and all that stuff. No spoilers, but it was interesting. But it was interesting after you had to play the game for 9 hours. Because it wasn't a story like New Vegas. You didn't get shot in the face in the beginning and are sent on a hellbent revenge mission. You lose your son who you didn't know. You didn't grow any emotional attachment to your son. He was an infant. And yeah, the part of your brain that says infants are automatically good and you don't want to lose them, and that should be pulling on your heartstrings, is at effect. But I had no emotional attachment to my son in that game. I didn't give a shit. I played the first 30 hours of Fallout 4 without even doing story missions. I just walked around in this awesome wasteland that they created, and, you know, fought all these different new enemies and used the guns and the modding system. And I feel like the story was kind of just, they fucked it up, to put it lightly. So I guess that's kind of off topic. We're just talking about games in general, but why Battlefield 1? Why did they have such a good engine and such a beautiful game? And how'd they screw that up? It could have had replayability for years. It could have had a great story. I mean, hell, the opening story for Battlefield 1 was incredible. If the entire story played like that opening scene, it had me emotionally invested. I felt it, you know? I was, you know, shooting and dying and spawning in another guy, and you just think, wow, look at the grand scale of this. Like, look at how many things happened in World War I. And of course it's not completely realistic, but it kind of gave you a scale. And then they just lost it. They turned you into a super soldier wearing metal armor, running up a hill with a goddamn gun that probably never really existed. And that comes back to this. While, yes, the story wasn't memorable in the sense of characters, it was a good story. And I remember vividly driving across the desert in an M1 Abrams in this game, and I remember taking off on an F-18, you know, all the cool shit. And then the multiplayer of this game, you could play it for years, and just years. I mean, look how gorgeous this game is. How old is this game? I have no idea. But I absolutely love it, and I'm going to be playing more of it. So I guess this was kind of a rambled rant to talk about Battlefield, but I wonder if you guys feel the same. Do you feel the same? Do you guys love Battlefield? What's your favorite? Tell me in the comments down below. And I understand that some people might like Battlefield 1. Don't hate on me for that. It's all personal opinions. And, of course, there are people who like everything, and I understand that. But that being said, I feel like these newer games just don't come with the punches. I haven't even bought Mass Effect yet. It's one of my favorite series, but I'm scared of what it's going to do to me if I play Andromeda. Because Shepard is a part of my video game childhood, you know? And it might sound like, well, wow, you're a real loser. Like, you like video games that much? It's like, that was my escape when I was a child, you know? When I was in middle school and whatnot. I didn't have the best middle school experience. I wasn't like the most popular kid. So I played these games, and Shepard meant something to me then. And, you know, the fact that I remember those missions and I remember those characters, you know? it means something. And I feel like companies nowadays find difficult time, like it's hard for them to replicate that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, let me know with a like. If you disliked the video, let me know with a dislike. And if you want to see more Battlefield 3, I'm going to post it anyway, but let me know. I'm probably going to do more live commentaries of this game now that I got this out of the way. I just want to get it back into it. I'm thinking about doing a Throwback Thursday as well. Just been thinking about video games in general. I've kind of been becoming burnt out of what I've been playing. I haven't really been switching it up a lot, so I think we're going to start switching things up and playing some games. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.